So we're in a transition, and we're now rebranding into BePositive. We're in a time, let's face it, where people are just being flogged with negativity and bad news and toxicity and just elevating to hatred. And what we want for this podcast is be positive as a mantra, as an attitude, as something that we can call out in those moments where we're challenged and remind ourselves that we do have optimism, hope, and encouragement. And so we invite you in. Enjoy the Be Positive podcast and enjoy hope, optimism, and encouragement. Desperation. I've had moments of desperation, but certainly at those moments where I don't know if I can do this. I can't do this.
Most definitely, I did for a long time. I couldn't do it. I came to a point where I knew that this wasn't going to go on much longer, and I just didn't want to die a quitter. I just chose that I wasn't going to get too up into what's going on. I just wanted to go out and I wanted to live a life.
Yeah. Welcome back to Be Positive. We're recording here from Lion Air Museum, right at John Wayne Airport, in this unbelievable tribute to the greatest generation in aviation. There's 10, maybe 12 planes from the World War II war and through the Korean conflict on display here. And Lance, I was showing you the fuddy-duddy, one of the few remaining flying fortresses that are still flight-worthy. And all of these planes here, when you come to tour the Lion Air Museum, they are all routinely exercised, taken out for air shows and flybys, and it's just an unbelievable display. Encourage you to come down to Lion Air Museum and Be Positive, our podcast about three critical things in today's world: optimism, hope, and encouragement. There seems to be a bit of a deficit, Lance, on those three things in the world. We're continuing our conversation with Canine Companions. Lance Weir, welcome to the program, and we wanted to hear your story of what Canine Companions has meant to you. But let's start with maybe the contributor, the event that took place that changed your world.
Yeah, August 8th, 1993, I was canoeing on a river that I grew up on, and we got stuck on a rapid. I got out of the canoe, unlodged the canoe from the rapid, and dropped my hat in the water. Was going to lean in head first to cool off, like you would in your backyard pool.
Right.
And chose a bad spot, hit a rock, shattered my C5 vertebrae, and instant paralysis. And it was tough.
Did you know in that moment the damage that was done?
Yeah, I did. I instantly, it was like a bad dream. I thought, I'm not going to wake up from this one.
And was there that disbelief, or was there that I can't believe? What was it?
I knew that I was reconciling my life. I thought that I was going to die. So I went from, instead of spending time on disbelief, trying to come to terms with it.
Yeah.
And so it was. There was a moment of it, but not long before I found peace. And
how long was that time frame, from accident to okay, I'm good now with the new normal?
It was a long time for me.
Yeah.
I was a glass half empty kind of guy early on, and so I spent a lot of time feeling sorry for myself, and but ultimately the key point in my life turning around was seeing a CCI puppy at a presentation in a rehab facility, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Saved my life.
Yeah. Where was this?
Denver, Colorado, at Craig Spinal Cord Institute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During that time at the Spinal Institute, did you have moments of just sheer desperation?
Yeah, I was grasping at that time in my life. I was 4 years in, addicted, and just depressed, and I was about as bad a spot as you could be.
What was the addiction?
Pain medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And needed it at some point, but destroying you at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. With desperation, I've had moments of desperation, and I ask these questions first person, having crossed some of these channels before, in terms of maybe not being hopeless, but certainly at those moments where I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do it. Or even the flashpoints of, I can't do this.
Yeah, most definitely. I did for a long time. I couldn't do it, but I came to a point where I knew that this wasn't going to go on much longer, and I didn't want to die a quitter.
Yeah. In your bio, it categorizes you. I don't know if that's the right word, but in terms of your injury, as a quadriplegic.
Yes.
And yet you've taken on some incredible events using your arms. So naive on me. I don't understand quadriplegic, but then you have the use of your arms.
Partial use of my arms, no use of my hands, no fine motor movement. I have just a little bit of wrist function. I have zero triceps, so I do have biceps. So that's kind of I do use my arms, but I usually have to have them somehow adapted to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. And the technology that's developing in terms of electronically triggering certain muscle groups has no impact in your world?
No, I just chose that I wasn't going to get too up into what's going on and all the technology. I just wanted to go out and I wanted to live a life.
Yeah. So that pivot point that you got to in your life, you're in Denver, you're in spinal treatment, you're in addiction recovery, not a great spot,
Yeah.
and then you got introduced to Canine Companions. How did they come and visit? Did you see something on television? I mean, how'd you get introduced?
I was at a recreational facility and a puppy raiser like yourself came in and did a demonstration with like little Harold there, and I was like blown away. I grew up on a farm and we had a lot of dogs, but none of them like had a puppy acted like that puppy did. So I was intrigued. Filled out an application. I got it. Came out here for the 2 weeks of training, and I knew then that I had found something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
Something was triggered there. Not only did it save my life, but it gave me a focus.
Yeah.
And I went back home and I finished college and I applied for a job with Canine Companions, and I moved out here not knowing anybody. Two
Seriously?
people
Yeah.
to work for Canine Companions. It completely changed my life. It saved my life.
I want to come back to what you're doing with Canine Companions, but I just want to camp out for a moment in terms of this transition. You've had several dogs, correct?
Yes, this is my third.
Your third.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about the first one.
Satine was her name. Her trainer called her a cowgirl.
Yeah.
She was just she worked hard, but she didn't have a lot of a personality, and but just an incredible dog that just made me see that relationship differently. And then my second dog was Augie, and they were so opposite that I called Satine. She was kind of a wine and cheese kind of dog, and Augie was more a beer and chicken wings. If that
Makes perfect sense.
They were both incredible dogs, but I really had this connection to my second dog, Augie.
Yeah.
And we worked together for 9 years. He retired at 11 and lived in retirement for 3 years with some really close friends and family. And now I'm with Elijah, which is nicknamed Cash.
Cash. I love Cash. The retirement is another piece of the puzzle that people don't realize. Okay, these dogs are trained up. As a puppy raiser, we train them for 16 months, and then they go back to professional training for 7 to 9 months, and then are awarded to whomever. So I understand the front end of it. Never really realized what happens on the backside of a service animal's career. So they're retired out at 9-10 years. Is that pretty routine?
They let you know when they want to retire. They just they just don't have the long days in them anymore, and they let you know. So my first dog, Satine, actually had retired because she has an issue with hardwood floors. But then Augie came along, and it was that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life, was to finalize that last day. Hardest thing I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the challenge, I guess, with any animal, is that they hit the finish line before you do.
Yes.
And then you've got to deal with that.
Yeah.
The obviously, with the rehab that you've done, a lot of hard work. And then coming now with into this relationship with a dog, I was thinking about a Lou Holtz quote. He said that nobody has ever drowned in sweat. and encouraging people to rush towards hard work instead of run from it.
Yes.
But has it been hard work, or is it easy?
It was really hard work. I'm through the recovery now. I'm in a spot now where there's not enough hours in the day for me. I have to slow myself down. I'm just can't. I'm trying to make up for lost time, so to speak. I don't know what it is, but I'm through all that, and just I'm so thankful and blessed where I'm at in my life.
You have to slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a friend of mine that I fondly describe as he lives between the bookends of spastic and caffeinated. And so I'm envisioning your pace at what you're doing now.
Yes.
You do need to slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning that.
Yeah. Is it a hard lesson?
Yes.
See, that from the outside looking in, people presuppose what your world is like
Yes.
as a quad.
Right.
Do you reference yourself as a quad, or how do you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a quad, they would say, "Well, gosh, you're limited. You can't do as much." They would think that you would have hours in a chair.
Yeah.
Not the case.
I'd like for somebody to do what I do
Yeah.
for a day.
Yeah. Tell me about your day. What is it that you're doing with Canine Companions?
I'm an advocate now.
Yeah.
I moved out here. I worked for a few years at the center, and then I served on the board for over 10 years.
Nice.
And then I took part in the Veterans Initiative, helped create that, and so I got to run with that for a while and go out and speak to the medical and professional field on what a real service dog is. And but now I'm more involved with another nonprofit where I do like endurance cycling.
Challenged Athletes.
Foundation, yes.
Yeah, Challenged Athletes Foundation.
Yes.
I have a rich history in cycling in my background, and then I saw some of the events that you do. Are you still doing the cycling events?
I am.
San Francisco to San Diego?
We just, this past year was the last year of it, but we have other things set in the future. But yes, I did that for 11 years straight.
600 plus miles?
640.
640. So you're along the track of 640 as a cyclist, and you're in a tandem bike, correct?
Yes.
You have a cyclist in front of you that's...
I have an able-bodied stoker, so to speak, a pilot.
He's steering the...
He's steering the rig and gearing and braking for me, and then I crank behind him.
Yeah. Do you get to those physical points where you simply feel like, okay, I'm depleted. I can't continue to pedal?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
You love that?
Yes.
And why is that? I mean, that's pain-induced.
That's living.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. And let's take an example of one of the stages of a 640-mile ride. How long are you going on typically?
Roughly, I'm on the chair for at least 9 hours.
9 hours.
A day.
How many miles?
Somewhere average around 90.
Yeah. So you're doing essentially close to a century a day.
Yes.
Yeah. As a quad.
Yes.
Yeah. And do people look at you and go like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? Or do other people that have recently experienced an accident, I'm assuming that you're a living testimony for them, extending those 3 words of our program, optimism, hope, and encouragement.
Yeah.
Do they look at what you do now and go, okay, he's just a freak and I can't do that?
I'm not sure. I remember the first day I got on the bike, it was a daunting thought to just go 2 miles.
Yeah.
I thought, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And then I did that, and then I just, the next thing you know, you're doing 100 and you're doing 200. So anything, if you want, give it a shot. You got to try.
Yeah.
Maybe it's only 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been an incredible ride.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's phenomenal to think in terms of, I haven't ridden 200 miles in one stage before, so I'm speaking out of turn. I've done a series of rides that were 140 miles.
Yes.
And I know at the end of 140 miles, regardless of the type of bicycle, it's a lot of time sitting in that position.
Yes.
And a lot of time with muscle fatigue beyond description.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've gone 200?
I have, yes.
On purpose?
Yes.
Yeah. That's phenomenal because I haven't. I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, the bookends of maybe impossible, and I got to try it. I don't know. I'm inspired now to.
Yeah, I had to do it. I had done a few centuries, and I
Yeah.
thought I've got to do one double century.
Yeah.
I have to do it. And so we went out to Borrego Springs and started at 4:30 in the morning,
Right.
and we finished at 7:30 at night. 15 hours.
15 hours.
Yes.
My wife is going to be upset with you now that you're giving me this idea. She's going to go, okay, Nelson, what are you thinking? With our first venture with raising a canine companion pup, we've got the famed Harold the Six. We're now 8 weeks into this campaign together, and he's on the front side of just being a puppy. And it strikes me, I see things, and I spoke about this with Paige Mazzoni, the CEO of Canine Companions, in our last episode, and talking about something that's impactful already for me when those animals make eye contact and lock and load. Do you have the same experience with Cash?
Yes, and I have the same experience with Harold. That's what got me. That's what got me. That's how I got to Cash.
Yeah.
For sure. This dog's incredible. The most, loving dog I've ever been around, and most obedient and just smart, beyond smart. Just a blessing and the right dog at the right time in my life.
Yeah. Are you still training the dog as you are deep into a relationship? You have them at year 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this ongoing training, or do they arrive at a place where, like, they've got it?
Well, you always, stay sharp on the tasks that you learned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm ever training him to do anything different. We got to get locked into what we're good at. But, it wouldn't take him a minute to learn something new. That's how smart he is. But, he still knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I want him to, to challenge him, so we stay up to date on his tasks.
Yeah. Reverse the role. What's he training you?
Patience.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as impatient?
No, but I think that we could all use a little more in our lives.
Especially in today's world?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I was having a conversation about miracles, and Canine Companions is a deliverer of miracles, in my estimation.
Yes.
I'm not deep into the organization, having just been introduced to it in September, but I'm seeing them as the givers of miracles, and I hope for miracles, and I get impatient with miracles because I'm like, I want it today.
Yes.
Deliver it right now.
Right.
And so I'm probably not the greatest testimony of patience in that context, but Cash is giving you patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yep. I want things like you do instantly, and I want to do better at that. So.
Yeah. I quoted this inspirational speaker like yourself, Nicholas Vujicic. I don't know if you've heard him speak before, but Australian-born, born with no arms, no legs.
Yes, I have.
And he made this comment, and I love this quote. It says, "The truth is, we have to focus on what we have and make the best of it." Focus what we have. And he's often asked, "Oh, don't you wish you had arms and legs?" And his comment is, "I know no different, and I'm good with how I am."
Yes.
He, when he walks on stage, he never has to react to the comment of break a leg. So, I got no legs. I don't have to worry about that. But is that in your position now? Obviously, you served in the U.S. Marines. You had a life pre-injury.
Yes.
And then your life pivoted. Are you thankful for what you have?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm so blessed. I was at a gala just 2 nights ago and shared a little bit about my story, and I told them that where I'm at and what I've experienced and what's happened over the past 12 years, I wouldn't change it to walk. I wouldn't trade it to walk in a minute.
You would not?
No.
Yeah.
What I'm experiencing, what's happening in my life right now is truly special, and I don't know that would have happened if it hadn't been for my injury.
Yeah. There's a nugget there in perspective. I would think I would respond differently if somebody came to me and said, I can restore your legs, I can restore your arms. I think I would say, I'm all in. You're saying, not going to trade it.
No, if they said, we could restore that, but you have to, you can't, all the friends you made, the memories you had, all that stuff's gone too.
Yeah.
Easy call.
Yeah. Easy call.
Easy call.
Yeah. Wow. What's your family said about this journey?
Well, I think they're proud of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're proud of me. At first, I think they thought I was crazy to try to move to California 11 years post-injury. After all I did was, literally nothing for the first 11. That was caught them off guard. But making them proud was something that was a driving force in my life.
Yeah. You moved from
Arkansas.
Yes. To Southern California.
Yes.
A little bit of a transition.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I would think that would require a service animal in its own right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't have a place to stay when I moved out here. I was living in a dorm room for the first month. Found a place to rent. I didn't have a car, so I had to rent something that was within walking distance. Like, I wanted this to work so bad.
Yeah.
And a year prior, I wasn't there, and it was completely because of a dog.
Yeah. What's been the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise is just how it just continues to get better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'd think it'd finally tail off or plateau. And
So you're in this moment, you're at a gala as an example, like you said a couple of days ago, you have this epic experience, and it gets better.
it just continues to get better. It's like something around the corner tops what you just did last, and you just can't believe that you just don't think it's going to happen, but it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just get up.
Yeah.
I didn't get up for a long time.
Yeah. What's it like with, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but a few minutes ago, in terms of people that are recently injured? Do you spend much time with people that are just starting this journey, or is that not a part of your campaign?
Yeah, I just actually did that for the past week.
Yeah.
A young man from Spokane, Washington, at C5 Quad came down and visited with me, and I took him to he connected with Challenged Athletes Foundation, and we made this connection, and he came and spent a week with me and got to show him around and hopefully share with him something that will make his life a little easier.
Yeah. How would you describe, or how would he describe his life now? Is he still just right at the forefront of trauma? And
yes. He's just getting through the trauma. He's just getting into the part of the realization that this is going to be his life.
Yeah.
And he's a young man, 25 years old, a 2-year-old daughter. Incredible story. He dove into a above ground pool.
Yeah.
And the day that he was in trauma, his wife was giving birth to their baby 1 floor below.
In the hospital at the same time, he's up fighting for his life after this diving accident.
And she's giving birth to their baby.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Do you think he's hit those moments where he's saying, I can't do this?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's getting through it, and he's going to. I can tell he's gonna get through it.
Yeah. Do you have an eye for that? Just people outside of injury, outside of being fully mobile to being less mobile, just in regular walk around life. Can you sense somebody that's in this spot of desperation?
I have before. I don't know that I have any kind of a special gift at it, but I have.
Yeah. What do you do with it? Do you act on it? Do you talk with these people? Do you share them? I mean, you've got to.
If I have the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, you have a different perspective.
Yeah.
For sure. When you're telling me I wouldn't trade anything about my life for my former life, including full mobility, that's a powerful testimony.
Yeah.
I think people need to hear that. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah. Awesome. What's next? You said something's around the corner with now that the CAF ride from from San Francisco to San Diego. Yeah. They did their last one. Where are you going next?
I'm going to Death Valley next month to do a 2-day ride out there. There's always something around the corner. They're going to do a ride in Hellsberg, I think it's believed, up in Northern California.
Yeah, Hellsberg. Uh-huh.
And then they're going to go to Thailand.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to go to Colorado. And then, so they're going to put little small rides around instead of one 7-day ride. Uh-huh. They're going to do like 4-day rides in 4 different places across the country. So a lot of more riding to do.
Yeah.
For sure. I have an incredible bike. I hope one day I get to share a little bit more about the bike.
Can we go for a ride? I want to hear it. Tell me a little bit about the bike.
It's one of a kind. engineered by the UCSD engineering department. The steering was done by Toyota Off-Road Racing. It's got about $250,000 worth of work hours and material invested in it.
Come on.
Titanium, NASA grade titanium. It's a rocket ship, and there's nothing else like it. It's one of a kind. It's just an incredible bike, and it's brought so much into my life outside of exercise and that. Just the people that it's brought into my life. It's just changed my life.
With the endurance events, you get to those spots again of like, okay, this seems impossible. There was something that Muhammad Ali talked about in terms of taking 2 letters off of the word impossible and living your life that way, taking I and M off and then focus on what's possible.
Yes.
These endurance rides, are you going to challenge yourself?
I want to as long as I can.
Yeah.
You know, I know that, you know, what I do is not the easiest thing on my body. So, you know, it's been a while since I've done a century, and I'd like to do another one in my 50s. I haven't done one in my 50s yet. So, that's a challenge to me.
All right. I'm going to invite myself.
Awesome.
I want to do your next century with you.
Okay.
All right. Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
Lance Weir, it's great to spend time with you, and we have this incredible story that's being told about canine companions and the impact of these service animals. And it's evident that Cash and your 2 previous animals have changed your life, and just in your reaction. Your posture changes, your look changes. It sounds like it's an emotional connect.
Yeah.
And it's of high impact. And we encourage you to look into it more at caninecompanions.org. You're with BePositive here at Lion Air Museum, and we're just looking at the reality of making the choice to choose staring at what's right instead of looking at what's wrong. And I hear that in your testimony in terms of not looking back at all the what ifs, and not looking forward in the category, the limiters of only ifs. You're great where you are, and you're moving towards greatness. Powerful testimony. Appreciate you being with us, Lance.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks for joining us on the BePositive podcast. You can find us at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, on social media at BePositive Cause, or at our website, bepositive.life. This is the home of optimism, hope, and encouragement. We invite you to join us and become an ambassador of optimism.